Welcome to everybody to this webinar about the good economic management of a religious institute today. This is the follow-up, the sequel of the first webinar we had on 19 February that was very much participate. And today we want to have the analysis of your answers to the questions that Dr. Alessandro Pellizzari presented to you. And so I want to give him the word, the place to show you the analysis he did. Thank you very much, Dr. Alessandro.
Thank you, Father Mario. We left off with the promise that we would return to you the analysis of the answers you wrote. In particular, at the end of my presentation on the sample survey involving the general bursars of 203 religious congregations, the 450 participants in the in-person and online meeting were divided into language groups of about 8 to 10 people, with a task of writing down 1 or 2 priority and concrete economic management actions to be implemented today at the intercongregational level. We collected responses from 44 groups with the following results. The intercongregational priority action required by the absolute majority of participating congregations was undoubtedly the creation of an official institutional place for continuous and operational discussion among the general bursars, with 31 out of 44 groups expressing this request in various ways, 70% of participants, of which 25 out of 31, 81%, required that such a general bursars union be created within the unique association USG for men and UISG for women. For the sake of completeness, 4 groups proposed the strengthening of the existing general bursar associations per language. 1 group proposed the creation of a single USG, UISG Commission on Economic Action to offer training and support to bursars, and 1 group proposed either the strengthening of the existing associations or the creation of the General Bursars Union within the USG and UISG. We can say that the intercongregational priority action most requested by you religious congregation, with 70% of the participants agreeing, is the creation of an official institutional place for continuous and operational discussion among the general bursars. 18 out of 44 groups, 41%, also indicated as a priority intercongregational action the regular organization of meetings and training courses for general bursars, of which 9, equivalent to 50%, explicitly required that the lay people working in the general bursar's office be involved in these meetings and training courses too. We can say that the second intercongregational priority action you required, which was supported by 41% of participants, is the regular organization of meetings and training courses for general bursars. 9 out of 44 groups, 20%, also indicated as a priority intercongregational action the intercongregational joint action toward the state, suppliers, banks, investment funds, etc. We can say that the third intercongregational priority action you required which was supported by 20% of the participants, is the Inter-congregational joint action towards the state, suppliers, banks, investment funds, etc. 4 out of 44 groups, 9%, also indicated as a priority inter-congregational action the strengthening of the involvement of the Dicastery for institutes of consecrated life and societies of apostolic life for discussion and formation at the level of general basins. Finally, we can say that the third intercongregational priority action you required, which was supported by 9% of the participants, is the strengthening of the involvement of the Dicastery for religious for discussion and formation at the level of general basins. Summing up, the congregation participating in the meeting require, as the first most required intercongregation action to be implemented, 70% of the congregation said this, is the creation of an official institutional place for continuous and operational discussion among the general basins. As the second most required intercongregational action, 41% of congregations said this, is the regular organization of meetings and training courses for the general pastors. As the third most required intercongregation action, 20% of the congregation said this, is the intercongregational joint action toward the state, suppliers, banks, investment funds. Lastly, as the third most required intercongregational action, 9% of congregations said this, is the strengthening of the involvement of the Dicastery of Religious for discussion and formation at the level of general basins. The analysis is finished, and we've already addressed to the USG and UISG these widely shared requirements for yours for practical intercongregational action to be implemented in order to understand if, how, and when it will be possible to implement them. Thank you, and see you next time.
Thank you very much, Dr. Alessandro, and thank you to everybody for your participation. From our side, the UISG and the USG, we will follow up your request, and so we will inform you which form we can imagine for the future to make to build up a place in which the bursars, the treasurers can find and travel and work together. So thank you so much, and see you soon at the next webinar. Bye-bye.